And we are live. Mills Drywall.
Yes, yes. How are you doing today?
Very good. Do we do the fake thing that we re-say what we just said? I think we
I
skipped right
mean,
over it.
I've kind of listened to 1,000 podcasts over and over, and they kind of all do the same thing.
How are you doing for the second time? Yeah. So
Oh, great.
yeah, your basement looks like that because that's the last spot, eh? That's just a pet project.
Oh, wait. I got the Canadian terms too.
Yeah, perfect. What
Where,
kind of
where are you in Canada?
Cambridge?
All right, relation to Montreal.
So okay, so Montreal's in Quebec. We're in
Yep.
Ontario. You know where Toronto is?
Yeah, I do, but I've
Yeah.
never been there, but I do know where it is.
Okay, so I'm like an hour outside of Toronto, basically.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I do visit Canada quite frequently. My in-laws have a second home on the Vermont Quebec line
Nice.
in a little town called Baldwin Mills, and we frequent there, 10, 15 times a year probably. So
Oh, that's dope. Okay. What do you
yeah,
do? Do you just vacation out here? Or do you what do you, like come for
yeah,
the weekends?
yeah. We go up there for Christmas. They have a second home up there. That's where my in-laws are from. Hence why I'm in the drywall industries because of my father-in-law.
That's wicked.
So yeah, so we go up there, we do a bunch of quadding, and we got a lake up there, and bring the two boys, and just have a good time. But
Yeah, Canada is pretty dope for that kind of stuff. Especially you head a little bit north.
yeah,
There seems like nothing but that. A buddy of ours moved out to Alberta, and once they got situated, we went out to go see him. And one of the days, he just loaded up all his guns, and we just kind of drove to wherever and pulled over.
no, that sounds awesome. I mean, like I said,
It's
I'm
so
down here in
cool.
Connecticut, and Connecticut's pretty like you know. Oh, I got something going on. Connecticut, there's not you can't do much around here.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the eagle eye staring at you. So I gotta drive north to New Hampshire, or pretty much I just go up to Canada, and we got friends with private property and hundreds of acres, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's sick up here, man. Yeah, if we could just get a few more fucking people outside of my area, it would be great. We've got all this populated area like this, and then
Yep.
the rest of the country's fucking empty.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is what it is. Um, 2017. What the fuck were you doing on Instagram in 2017?
I
You
do.
were early adopter.
Well, not really. So yeah, I was like, all right, let me try to get on Instagram. Let me try to do some like drywall, post some stuff, and then it just like I'm like, what am I doing this for? Like, it kind of wasn't, like I would watch PRC taping and this and
Yeah.
that, and I'd watch a bunch of videos, but I'm like, I don't never really gone to the social media realm, and I'm just trying to pick it up now because I realize that's kind of where it's at, not necessarily getting jobs because all my jobs are referrals from contractors and people.
Mhm.
Like, I don't do any advertising. So it's more just to kind of get in with, who knows what, everybody has a different method all over the place. Like, there's so many different ways of taping and doing drywall. I'm a knife and trowel. I haven't heard any knife and trowel guys on on your podcast or
Mhm.
Nick's podcast.
That's how I tape. When I'm not
You
doing the
do
boxes, it's knife and
knife and trowel. Okay. So
sorry, hawk and knife.
hawk and knife. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
I'm
don't do trowel.
yeah, I'm troweling knife.
Yeah,
So
okay,
I'm
okay.
I'm pushing the buckets around, but first coat is compound applicator for
Nice.
now.
Yep.
I'm looking at that Columbia tactical set right
Hmm.
now, the Predator. That's like trying to make a move on that. I'm
It's
trying to
pretty
figure out.
dope.
Yeah, I haven't done the auto tools. Heard amazing things.
The thing about the auto tools when you're getting started is even though you're walking around like Bambi with them and it's super clunky and everything's kind of fucked, at least it feels that way, it's
Yeah,
still 10 times faster. Like,
yeah,
even going to each corner and fucking around and taking tapes off and putting them back, it's still lifetimes faster.
yes,
And you pick it up pretty quick, especially if you're like you're saying, you're a taper, you know what you're doing, you know what it's
yeah,
supposed to look like, or how, like the basics of it all you've got figured out. It is so much faster. But you also need to have the board feet to make it ideal, right? Like I probably shouldn't be running the Predator on a fucking 3,000 board foot site, but I don't care. I want it done in 10 minutes or however long it takes, right? And then if that's the end of the day, then that's the end of the day. I'll focus on something else. But the guys like High Cut or Cam, they're doing 10,000 board feet a week. Like they're running through a house in
Oh,
a
I know.
day.
I
It's
messaged
crazy.
after listening to High Cut on yours. I
Mm-hmm.
messaged him and I touched base with him, and then I saw like even today he posted something on Instagram, and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, and message him, and I'm like, all right, because like he's running. I mean, I like the Columbia. I've had Columbia, products, at least compound tubes and other
Mm-hmm.
products. He's running tape tech. You guys in Union around here that they're running tape tech, and that they push me towards that. But like honestly, I love the black and white Columbia brand, dude. I just like, I mean, I don't know what it is, but like it stands out. It's like it feels like it's more personal, not like
Yeah.
a commercial. Like, I feel like tape tech's like, big companies, and
Yeah.
Columbia is kind of catering towards the smaller guy, you
Us.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. In the beginning, Columbia, I keep referring back to this, but it was like Columbia Tools was like skateboarding in high school, right? It was cool.
Yeah.
Like and it's sleek. And the guys that they have promoting it, like they're, I don't know if they have amazing forethought, like, or they can see where people are going to get to, or just like excellent judge of character. But I've not watched any 'cause I follow the guy from in the state or from he's French. He speaks French. Everything he writes is in French, so I can't even ingest the content, but I
Okay.
enjoy watching him run the tools. And then he is the same thing. We comment back and forth, and it's like I don't fucking know. Like
Yeah.
I'll translate it sometimes and like, whatever, but it's I think it's a cool brand. It feels very at home when you're looking to be a part of it. um yeah, I just like them. I did level 5 for my auto taper when I bought my
Okay.
first auto taper,
Yep.
and I had run a Predator before that, but I kind of like put a budget together of what I was going to do when I started taping full time, and I was like, fuck it. It's like it's almost half the price it felt like.
Yeah.
So,
So when you started taping full time, like when you transitioned from, I mean, I kind of know your background a tiny bit based on podcasts. I know you're what, third generation builder.
no, I taught everything. It's all just me. My
Oh,
dad
it's
was
only
big
just you. Okay,
business.
maybe that was someone else I heard. I don't know. I listen to so much content. I kind of get it
Oh
like a little
yeah.
confused here and there.
Yeah.
But all right, so how many jobs are you like? All right, go back to the auto stuff. So like, I'm probably like 200 some jobs a year by myself.
Right.
Like going from
200 jobs a
patchwork
year.
bathrooms to up to 150 sheet additions, and then occasionally I'll sub out like a 10,000 square foot. I mean, I don't do square foot. We do kind of more by the board here.
By the
Like
sheet, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sheet. So like the two houses I did prior to Christmas, I did one around Thanksgiving. I did another right before Christmas as a sub, just subbing out because I was waiting on a bunch of work.
Yeah, fuck
And
yeah.
those are 240 board sheet, and that's when I initially got in contact with Nick when I was doing those houses. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out whether I want to do the auto tools or not, because in a house like that, yeah, it makes sense. But a lot of my stuff is bathroom, basement, renos, tying in new to old, popcorn ceiling room. I do so much renovation work, and I'm
Hmm.
2, 3 jobs a day. So like, I don't know if I have the time to clean up. But I got to learn how to use them, because ultimately my business has to grow.
Yeah.
I'm growing regardless of whether I like it or not, just because of kind of how I go about things. I answer the phone, I'm vacuuming up jobs,
Yeah.
making sure stuff's to a T. That play next to just puts everybody's work to shame, because you can see every little detail to the point where
Fucking
it's like,
Josh said that right
dude,
away. He's like the
I'm
things.
like, I had the Playnex one, Playnex LHS 225 EQ, so the fixed one, after
Mhm.
running 3 porter cables for years. And then I get this thing, and I'm just like, wow. But
Very
you know what?
humbling.
Ultimately, you're just gonna do the best of your ability, because you can see everything.
Yeah.
And it's a different style of light, because I like the way I sand stuff is power sand. I have a sponge sandpaper that goes on my my pole sander, which is a
Hmm.
super sander or whatever, just a white one.
Yeah, I use
Everybody's
Circle
had
Brand. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
10 of them. So I run that in my corner. It doesn't gouge up the corner. And then I block my corners with a light, and then
Nice.
vacuum everything up. Done deal. So, I mean, I always sand with a light, but man, that light is completely different,
Yeah,
Um,
I had discussion with a buddy of mine about lights, and he was like, you want them as much light as you can, and you want it to be portable. So I
Yeah.
got that the lantern that Milwaukee has, and it's like a hexagon lantern. It's about this big.
Okay.
But I think it's for fucking sitting on the floor and lighting up a room, but I carry it
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's why. So
awesome.
you're running. Are you guys all right? So I got my wife's cousin is actually like a rep for DeWalt in Quebec,
Nice. Yep.
and I see like a lot of DeWalt in Canada. Not so around here. There's a bunch of DeWalt, but it's more Milwaukee based. So where you're at, it's like, are they pushing Milwaukee or are they pushing DeWalt more so?
I feel like carpenters use DeWalt,
Okay.
and I
Yep.
feel
True.
like electricians and plumbers and HVAC, they're either using Milwaukee or Hilti.
Okay.
Milwaukee is if you're plumbing, you're using Milwaukee. The
Yeah.
the
Well, I
the
mean,
the amount of shit they have for an average plumber, right? And it's all stuff that costs an enormous amount, but it
yeah.
just cuts that time down, right? So if
Oh,
you're
I
a
know.
production guy, it's a kind of a no-brainer. I
Yeah.
don't know if DeWalt's getting into that kind of stuff.
Well, they just
But
came out with the Pro Press. Like I follow, I'm a DeWalt guy. Like I have every DeWalt tool. Like I was doing a patio project at my
mhm,
house the other year. I went and bought the $900 cutoff saw with the two 9 amp batteries, and then I
nice.
just paid someone to do it, and he used my saw. So
See this fucking saw? Do you want to use it?
yeah, well, that's it. But then
That's
again,
awesome.
so I just bought the Festool Play Next 2 this morning.
Yeah.
I ordered the cordless DeWalt one because I'm like, enough's enough. Like I'm like the other day I was doing a garage, 12-foot lid. I'm up
Yeah.
there. I got the Festool up there. It's great, but at the same time, I'm in an area where I don't necessarily need dust collection.
Yeah. And it's
So
pretty fucking restricting. There's
yeah,
no, you
so
know what I mean? When that hose is fucking tight, it's tight.
yeah, well that's it. And you know how many years of standing on 10-foot stilts, standing 12-foot ceilings.
Yeah.
Like I'm using my 42s and I'm using my porter cable with a hose, dragging a vacuum around me while I'm on my stilts just to stand the garage.
That
And
sounds like a
then,
nightmare.
yeah, then Play Next 1 comes out and I can reach a 13-foot lid from the ground
Oh shit. Okay.
because with the
So how,
extension.
it's just got a click of like the center of it can be attached and
Yeah,
attached. Wow.
yeah. So I'm running, I was
That's
doing
got to
that.
be fucking weird, eh? If you've got it
Not so much. I mean, they sell like,
pretty sturdy.
back restraints that help support it. But I mean, I hear you talk about gym and workout. Like I was a
Oh yeah, I'm
personal
good.
trainer back in the
Yeah.
day. I was a gym rat for 20 years.
Nice.
Like benching heavy, like every day, 6 days a week, 2 3 hours a day
Yep.
until kids. And
That'll
now
do it.
kids are here, and now it's life priorities. So I
Yeah,
haven't been to
yeah.
the gym
Yeah,
in
somebody's got to pay for all these fucking kids. Yeah.
yeah, right, dude. With the especially like the cost of eggs and stuff nowadays and everything.
Yeah, it's a little bit wild. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I was running that festival and I had the suction and then the Play Next 2 came out and I'm like last January, my sensor died on my festival, like 3 months out of warranty, the initial, because they
Oh,
run on sensors. As soon as the sensor goes, they're shot. So instead, you can't just bring it to the festival dealer.
what's
You
the
got to
sensor doing?
it's there's a sensor in all the festivals that senses like I don't know if it's air restriction or dust, but if it gets clogged
Oh,
up, you're supposed to clean them out, whether you blow them out with a blower like an air compressor. I
yeah,
usually just take the festival suction, the wand, and just put it to the top of the vacuum and suck the brushless head out.
that makes sense.
Um, but the sensor got dirty, so that thing, shit the bed. So here I
Yeah,
am doing the middle of a house. So I drive 40 minutes up to my Woodcraft, which is a local higher end festival dealer slash carpentry stuff.
nice.
So I went up there. I wanted to Play Next 2, but that was 6 months out.
Oh,
So they had and I bought the Festool fixed one with a new vacuum because I already needed a second vacuum. I had to send everything else to get fixed, and I'm running that, and it worked great. It's a little different than the first one, but then I just got that new one. Finally, 6 months later, they were like, "Hey, the Play Next 2 came in." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, well, maybe I'll be in eventually." Like,
hmm.
it's $1,500, $1,600.
Oh, and you
So
just fucking bought a new one. So
yeah, and I just bought a new one. Well,
yeah.
I'm kind of a, you know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
buy every tool there is, man. Like
Yes,
kind of.
sir.
So, anyways, I wait till beginning of this year, and I'm like, all right, I got a good sized popcorn removal ceiling to do. Let me go grab it.
Yeah.
And then I go and grab it, and I realize that they went up $300 on it from last year to this year. And I'm like, I just spent
Ooh.
$1,600 on one Play Next 2 when I got the vacuum, the fixed one, and a sustainer full of 4 packs of paper for 1,500. So
Jesus Christ.
yeah. So now I got 3. One's got to get sent out. But I do so much like popcorn seal
How the
removal,
fuck?
all that stuff,
How do you have 3 Festool vacuums and you don't have a Predator yet?
because I love sanding. I don't know.
That's gonna have to be a clip because no one's ever said that before.
No, that's not true. I mean, there's straight up standing crews out there. I've seen them post like,
These crazy assholes love it.
I
They
mean, I
they
don't know.
love
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
guess so. I mean, I don't understand it, but whatever. I don't, if you could, there's the dustiest, dirtiest job there practically is. And like I said, I'm 2, 3 jobs, renovations a day, most
Yep.
likely. I mean, unless I got on a bigger job, like I got a 150 board commercial job,
Yep.
98 by 132 feet, or 32 feet by 98 feet, 12 foot high with beams. So
Yep.
I'm trying to source for help for that right now. But my day to day is renos, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
say no to work. I mean,
Yeah.
I turned down a 600 board sheet house last year because I'm like, I'm trying to find help and I
That's a
can't. So
lot, dude. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a lot.
So like, I mean, we're looking at like a $60,000 job,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like kind of a one-man band. I got 2 to 3 crews that hang for me. I get help here and there, but everybody's so busy because I
Yeah.
mean, Connecticut, dude, we don't have many finishers. Like there's a few hangers around, but finishers, man, you're either in the union or you're retiring. So
Okay. Well, a lot of those guys have had enough fucking side work too, right?
yeah, no,
And that makes sense. You put your time in.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, but
but
everybody's got different drives and passions. Like
yeah.
I'm driven like crazy just because that's how I was raised, but I'm also kind of trying to create a nice little nest egg for my kids to have a little freedom in the future. And like my wife homeschools our kids, so like
Yeah,
my
you
my
mentioned that.
yeah, my son Mason and Kai, one's turning 4 in like in April, so soon to be 4, and the other one's 7. And I want them to do their own thing, whatever they want to do. I want to be able to help them and pursue whatever path in life that they want to do. So that's where my drive comes from.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and that's pretty solid, man. Like people always used to ask, what's your why?
yeah,
Like that, it's more of a sales term, but when you understand what your why is, all the rest of it becomes way easier, right?
yeah,
It's like the taxi driver that flips the lid down and looks at the picture or wherever, right? It's the same fucking thing. It's, why
yeah,
am I eating shit today? If you don't have an answer for why am I eating shit today, you don't want to do it anymore.
yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
was kind of like earlier on. I'm like, I'm working for my father-in-law, and I'm like, I'm not sure if this is like the right career path. I don't know, like, where am I going with this? Like, am I just gonna be finishing drywall forever, working for someone else, or you know? And then I was like, like I said, I was heavy into the gym stuff, so let me try the
Mhm.
personal train stuff. And then I realized, like, all right, I'm kind of more into it for myself, you
Yeah.
know.
That's a
I'm
good way
like,
to
I
ruin
like
it.
I like lifting weights and doing this and working out and like just trying to see what the next bench max I can get is. But now here we are later in life where I don't even want to touch that because I'm scared I'm going to hurt myself and be out of work for 2 weeks, and then that's like serious business now. It's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
joke, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like even at my size, when I'm like before I went out west last year, I got real heavy into it. I did like a sober July, I think, and then I like dove face first into the gym again, and I was going 6 days a week, and my eating was on point. I was counting macros, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I was going hard, but if there was over 2 plates on that, I was in a fucking mood. Like there's no reason to be doing super heavy weights
no,
when you're in our industry anyways. Like, how
yeah,
many times can you bench fucking 2 plates with silly perfection, right?
30 times.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean though. Yeah, like, we do have our
That was
number, but I
that
mean,
was
do
my
it
personal
32 or
record
whatever.
for
Yeah.
that was my personal record for 225. That was
30.
30.
That's
And I'm 5'9".
yeah.
Like one rep max was like 385 for no, not one rep. It was a 2 rep, 385 for
Yeah.
two
Yeah, like
at like
one clean
at
rep.
180
Yeah, yeah,
pounds.
yeah.
So I was like,
Jesus Christ. Christ.
Yeah, so like, but that was my thing, like chest, buys, tries, back,
Yes. Yeah.
back and forth,
Yeah.
splitting days up, and then legs is like, I guess I'll squat for 30 minutes and walk away. I'm bored of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. I'll
you
do
know.
this till I throw up and then I'll go home because I hate it. Yeah.
But where do you find the time to do that now, man? Like, how do you find time to go to the gym?
You
Really?
don't, right? So you have to either wrap your head around 4 o'clock in the morning, which sucks,
Yep.
or after the kids go to bed, right? As you're trying to wind down, you got to go to the gym. You can't take pre-workout, right?
Yeah.
You just got to go and fucking, it doesn't matter if somebody woke me up in the middle of the night and drug my ass to the gym into my second set, I'd love it. But
Yeah. Well,
it's just getting there, right?
that's it. That
That's the
was me back
fucking,
in the day. Like, it was
yeah.
like, we're vacationing in Florida. I'm like, all right, 6 a.m. Let's go to the gym. Hey, let's go, man. You want to go to the gym? He's like, one of my buddies, he's like hungover as crap.
Everyone's just like,
Me to the Gold's Gym in Fort Lauderdale. Thinking it's gonna,
okay. So
and
I
then it's
went
like
to,
we go over there and it's like not what you expect. It's a
yeah.
bunch of 70, 80-year-old guys on the treadmills, and it's fine. But like, I'm in there and he's like puking his brains out in the bathroom from doing a superset.
Which
But
makes you feel better, by the
yeah,
way.
but that was going back 20 years up until 5 years ago. Now it's drywall construction and
Hmm.
family stuff,
Yeah.
trying to get some vacations and real life stuff.
That's your thing. Like, if you're gonna implement working out into like what you're asking, how do you do it? It's not bodybuilding anymore, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't bodybuild and do all this other shit. You just can't do it. Something has to be sacrificed. If it's for me, it's always sleep. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like until it starts really affecting me, I'm good.
How much
But
sleep do you get at night?
if I get 6, I'm pretty fucking happy about it.
That's how I feel. I'm like, after having kids and like my wife was amazing. Like, she would take care of both of them every night, all night. If I slept in a separate bedroom or I slept to sleep because I had to get
Hmm.
up to provide essentially.
Yep.
But she respected that, and I give her so much credit for that. But I don't know how to sleep. Like, I'll go to sleep at like 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
10:30, maybe 11, and usually I like wake up. I'm like up at 1 or up at 2, and I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, how do I sleep? And then it's like 3 sometimes, and then it's 5:30, alarms going off. I'm like snoozing until 6 o'clock, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, it's tough. I kind of
Yeah.
lost.
I mean, when you're talking about not sleeping and that kind of stuff, get a big, heavy fucking kettlebell
Yeah,
and get into your basement and find some like shitty things to do with it.
yeah. Well, why do you need a kettlebell when you just got a 5-gallon bucket of compound? Isn't that the same
Exactly.
thing?
Exactly.
Yeah, because
It's
it's like Joe Rogan with all those like gorilla bells and this and that. We got to come out with some like USG kettlebells or something like in little compound
right.
bucket shapes. Or Columbia come out with their own
Just
taping workout routines.
fill it full of 90 and then kind of like sand it into a fucking shape.
It's drywall smoking, dude. How many guys in the like past like would make a baseball out of just Durabond and
Yeah.
be like, hey, check out this ball. I'm like, all right, well, you make a kettlebell out of Durabond and put like a weight inside of it, and there you go.
Perfect. Yeah, it's already chalked.
Yeah, right.
Um, you talked about Gold's Gym, dude. When I went out west, I went to Grand Prairie to see my friends, and then I went down to Calgary, and then I went and did the mountains in Banff. I did fucking big, huge mountain. I'm not an endurance athlete. I get up to the top and then like violently threw up.
Really.
Like, oh, I was fucking killed. I was killed.
What kind of like elevation are you climbing?
So it was the sulfur fucking mountain trail or whatever, and it
Yeah.
was 5 kilometers up.
Okay. All right.
So the switchbacks were like fucking kind of nice until you
Yep.
got about halfway, and then it was like, oh, okay. And then it's like someone ran out of budget. And
Oh,
the
really?
last few fucking switchbacks are like this. I'm like leaning
Yeah.
into it.
I used to try to do some of that. Like, I did Mount Washington with some buddies. Like,
Nice.
I don't even know. Mount Washington's like a 6,000 foot peak in New Hampshire.
That's wild.
Tallest peak around here. And I forgot what the vertical is from, like, we climbed it like 10, 15 years ago. And that was awesome, but it was like 50-mile-an-hour winds. You couldn't see, freezing fog. We did it in
Nope.
October. And then
That's a
now I'm like,
bad time to do that. Yeah.
yeah, right. Exactly. I was like beginning October, it was raining. It was probably 45, 50 at the base. And then
Yeah.
you get up there and it's like, you can't see. And we ended up not climbing down. We took a trolley down.
Yeah.
I mean, they hit world record winds there, dude. Like it's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
breaking your fucking leg trying to go
Yeah.
down. Yeah. No,
And
we're
then
up here. We'll take the ride. I'm good.
yeah, exactly. Well, by the time we would have gotten down, it would have been dark too. So we
Hmm.
would know where we are. But I just did it 2 years ago on my quad though.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
There's an
Okay.
auto road.
A
There's
little
an auto
fucking
road. Like,
different.
yeah, I had like my Can-Am quad. So I just Can-Am XMR 1000 all the way up the mountain. That was great. That was awesome. And I didn't exert myself at all.
No, that's dope. Yeah. So reason I bring that up, there's a Gold's Gym. And so the place I'm staying is like right around the corner from it. And I'm like full of piss and vinegar to go. I'm going to get a shirt. I'm going to bodybuild all week. Like, and then so I show up and they don't do day passes. They don't do month passes.
Really? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yo, they just
Wow.
don't fucking do it anymore. So I looked at the guy, I'm like, listen, the fucking reason I'm here is is because it's this close to this gym. And he goes,
Yeah.
listen, we used to do a 10-day pass and I'm gonna be there for 5 days. So he's like, I'm gonna just call head office, make sure that I can give you this fucking 10-day pass or whatever. And then because we're fucking you over for the other 5 days, I'll give you the platinum coverage one. And then that lets you get into the back room and they've got like $15,000 machines in there.
Really? What kind of machines are we talking
Okay,
here though?
so this chest machine that you sit down in it and it's an enormous rack around you, right?
Okay.
Each arm is an independent and
Yep.
you can this way in and out like it's all basically like you know those hack squat machines where like the uprights come with you
Yeah, yep.
everywhere. It's kind of like that, but you're sitting. There's a bench, and the bench does all the things that benches do, all the way to like decline. And then your arms are on these fucking tracks, and it was incredible. It was like having dumbbells on a plate machine.
Okay.
It was very weird, but the kind of the movement that you could get out of it. And then when I woke up in the morning, my chest was destroyed because I did that, and then I always do incline dumbbell flies.
So is it
Um,
like strictly a pressing machine or is it a fly machine as well?
no, no,
Or
no.
like
It was just strictly like a
strictly
bench.
pressing?
Yeah, it was like a science fucking bench. It was
Okay.
crazy. And then the fucking seat goes wherever you want it to go
Yeah.
to. They
How
had
much decline do you like? How much decline did you like usually do?
never. No, I never
Never.
do. I fucking when you're my size, you've got these like they're not boobs, but like
Yeah.
for me to be ripped enough for you to so well, I got down to 260 one time and
Yep.
I had that like beautiful fucking
Yeah.
heart there and I would trim my chest hair to it because I was a douchebag. So then anyways, I used to do even at that point, you're never going to get that chiseled decline. I just feel
No.
like
Decline was more of a like in my perspective was like you have less movement, you're not
yeah,
going as far, you're not moving the
yeah.
bar as far. So you
It's the
could kind of
fucking
like
hack squat
I was
machine
able
of
to push up more weight doing decline than anything. So it was kind
mhm.
of like an ego booster more than anything from my perspective.
Yeah, but it's your fucking lats and your triceps and your like
Yeah.
you are pushing this way. It's like yeah, I found it I very quickly, and I don't know if it's because I won't benefit from it or it's because this is true, but it's like that fucking leg press machine where every idiot goes and puts 10,000 fucking
Oh
plates on
yeah,
this
right.
thing, can't squat two plates to save their life.
So,
And they're going to be doing that. That's what I felt like with the decline press because guys would hop on that. If a gym has a decline bench, you always see guys over there with two plates on it, fucking moving at 8 inches. And
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
you're
Yeah,
going to just,
it was all BS. You know, I think I heard you say that you usually start your stuff with incline.
yeah,
You would
yeah,
your
always. Yeah.
so like I was like I don't know. I overexerted myself. I'd be in the gym for 3, 4 hours, like way too much.
Yeah.
Like stupid. Just like I'd be doing incline, decline. I'd be doing incline presses, decline like flies. I'd be doing like 7 different chest exercises, and it was
Yeah.
got to the point I was just like destroying myself to the point where I was like, I'm not even growing anymore. It's like just it's just stagnant. You know?
Yeah. I feel like your body, it does this thing where my sweet spot is 5 exercises per body group, like per body part. And then
Okay.
I'll do 5 sets of each. which is tremendous. And then when I was going in doing like the major time actually bodybuilding, I would do 2 body parts, 5 exercises each, 5 sets of each.
Okay.
And then typically the first set was like like you're warming up,
Yeah,
right?
light
And you're
warm up
almost
set.
stretching with the weights. And then, your second, you would ramp it up, but then the last 3 are working sets and they're fucking heavy.
Yeah. Like
It
I remember being like doing the warm up sets, and it was like, throw on 135, just do it like 20 times. And it was like, all right, let's go for the 1 rep max, and it was like, throw 3 plates on, see, get a
yeah,
spotter. And it was like,
just dive off that cliff. Yeah.
that was like late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And then it started getting injured,
Mhm.
injured, doing deadlifts one
Yeah.
time. Another time was repping 275, and some lady tried to squeeze between the bench and another machine as I'm pressing, like eighth rep in, barbell gets stuck under her butt cheek and just twerks my whole entire body. And man, oh, it was terrible. But those are the things I can't risk doing drywall, and it's just I got to look
Well,
out for the longevity of my body, more so than anything. So health,
that's what
nutrition. I honestly feel like I'm in better shape now than ever before, regardless if I go to the gym or not.
Yeah, well, because I feel like there was a lot of ego in our younger years of like, at least speaking for me, where you're just there to pick stuff up and put stuff down and like exert that extra energy that you have. Now, when I'm doing stuff, I'm eating correctly, I'm taking the right supplements. I know when I'm fucking overdoing it, like it,
Okay.
and it all makes sense to you, so you don't do those things. So when I was younger, I'm like, you don't
What
know,
are you
right?
doing for supplements?
So I take right now I've got Animal Stack as a multivitamin, but I don't
Yeah.
like it as much as um fuck, what's it called? We're about to go on break here and I'll go. It's Magnum. Magnum has this
Okay.
little packet and it's got
Okay.
everything in it. It's like $100 a month.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
pretty much
got
vitamins. You're not doing like pre-workout stuff, or
okay,
depends.
yeah. So so I'm taking this Magnum stuff. I do nootropics, which is either like main game or whatever it's called, or there's like a shroom boom. What I really like is the Rogan's Alpha Brain, but you can't get it.
Yeah.
Like it takes fucking 3 months to get here, and I'm not.
Oh, does it really? So I have a subscription for Alpha Brain,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I would do that, and then I would do some of the other products. I forgot, like I would try Super Stressful, I tried New Mood, I would try a bunch of
Mhm.
stuff. And I just don't know if it works or it doesn't work. I'll take it for a month, but I can't get that regiment down of taking the same pill every morning. It's like
Yeah.
I get up and go grab my coffee, and I'm like off to work, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot my Alpha Brain or whatever, and it's like
That's
I
kind of
don't know.
why
I
I
can't
like the
tell if it works or not.
nootropics. Yeah,
But
like I feel like with the nootropics is when you're taking them, like you can just take, like I just did before the podcast. I'm kind of tired or whatever. So
yeah,
you take another dose of them, and I feel like they hit you and then they kind of wear off. Like you know what I mean? Like that's
yeah,
how I feel about the nootropic stuff.
okay,
All of my pre-workouts, I don't need any fucking stimulants.
all right,
I'm like full up to my ears with it
yeah.
sometimes, and when I'm not, I'm enjoying that I'm not.
I personally
Um,
don't think they're good for you, man.
they're not, man.
Like
They're
I took,
fucking
I
terrible for
probably
you.
took 10 years, 15 years of NO Explode from BSN, like all
Yes.
those, like, but you take NO Explode, that was my go-to. But I was like, any other product that was similar, I'd be
Yeah.
trying. So
Yeah.
doing that, and then it would be like Rockstar energy drinks before the gym. And then all of a sudden I started
Yeah.
having like super weird like stomach pains, like sharp shooting
Yeah.
pains in the stomach. So I cut back on the zero sugar stuff. So I was
Hmm.
drinking those Rockstar Blue Zero sugar ones with all
The
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 aspartame.
burnout fucking whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so now as you got 320 milligrams of caffeine in it, a bunch of aspartame, and I started getting stomach problems. And I
Yeah.
just laid off all that stuff, and I haven't had those stomach problems whatsoever. And you
So the
know,
stuff I'm using now, it's called Purple K last rep or something like that. And it's an NO like it's a vasodilator. That's what I like the most is just making sure that everything's getting to where it's supposed to go.
yeah.
I'm a big fan of when my fucking veins, pop up and say
Oh
hello.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Halfway through.
yeah.
And then I also take, I think it's called Big Boy, and that all that is NO. So I'll take a scoop of each instead of doubling up on anything. I very
Okay.
typically I'll never double scoop anything. If I feel like I need more than it, I'll add.
Yeah.
like
Do you do any
another.
like arginine or like any of that stuff?
That's in a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't take it separately.
Okay. So no
What else?
like nitric oxide stuff. I mean, let's not explode, but yeah, the arginine. I guess that's in there because I would start
Yeah, and
taking.
citrulline and like
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that are chalked into that. It looks like arginine and citrulline seem to be the big ones.
Yep.
But again, I walk in and I look at the guy and I'm like, you know what I want? And he's like, yeah. And I just say, what has the best reviews? I don't have the time to research it all, but the guys at Popeyes are great, at least here. They're not on commission. Like I
Oh, you're
worked at
talking Popeyes,
GNC,
the supplement store, not a fried
not the
chicken.
fucking chicken place. No. So I had a buddy come to go to the gym with me one time. I was like, yeah, just meet me at the fucking Popeyes on Hespler Road here. And he calls me. He's like, where the fuck are you? I'm like, I'm at Popeyes. I've been here for fucking 10 minutes waiting for you. And he's at a fucking chicken restaurant. What the fuck are you doing at a chicken restaurant before we
That's
go
for
to?
after the workout or after this, you know?
I'm like, buddy, I love you, but you got to fucking figure your shit out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good time to take a break.
Yeah.
We
Sounds
will
good.
be right back.